here, and we're happy to have everybody here. Our first guest is a true inspiration to both adults and kids alike. Adora Svitak is a local 12-year-old who is the world's youngest teacher. She uses tools like video conferencing and Skype to teach classrooms all over the world. Can you believe that? And over the past 5 years, she's taught more than 400 school and classrooms. Just the past February, she was a keynote speaker at the TED conference in California, where all the geniuses get together. She shared the stage with Bill Gates and Jim Cameron, the director. So please help me welcome this inspiring and amazing young, well, I won't say a young woman, so far just an adolescent, but she's going to be an amazing young woman very soon, Adora Svitak. Come on out, Adora. So much fun reading about your life. You wrote your first book at 7. Didn't we all? And how many books have you written now?
I've written 2 books, Flying Fingers and Dancing
We've
Fingers.
got some of those here today. There you go, Flying Fingers.
So this is the one that I wrote when I was 7. It's short stories and tips on writing for other kids. And then the second one is poetry I co-authored with my sister Adriana.
So how did you get started teaching? I mean, obviously you've got a gift for writing and a real interest, but how did you get started teaching?
Well, a lot of it was the fact that when I was 5 years old, I thought everyone must love to read and write. It's so fun. And then I realized, I heard from kids and said, oh, you know, reading and writing is boring. And I thought, well, that's got to change. And being 5, then I was naive enough to think that I could do it. And
naive at 5? That's really hard to believe.
And as it turned out, when I went to these schools and I talked to the kids, I really saw that they were receptive to the message. And that was really how I got started. I would go to schools and talk about reading and writing.
It is just amazing to me that you have this great poise. You seem like an old soul. You've heard that saying. What do you think explains this ability you have to learn all of this stuff? I read some of your poetry. You are like a Shel Silverstein kind of writer. I mean, it's advanced stuff and really lovely. What do you think is going on with you?
I think a lot of it is that I've been exposed to poetry of all types. A lot of Shel Silverstein is a big influence of mine. I love to read, and that really gives me many new ideas. So
you have traveled all over the world. Tell me about where you've gone, what you've done, and who you've been teaching.
Well, so far I've been to, I think it's 22 states now. I was just on the East Coast. That's a good place to collect them. I've also been to many countries, China, Vietnam, England, Italy, France. So I love to travel and learn new things everywhere I go. And I talk to students, and it's really amazing to see across the world, whether it's in the United States or in England, that really everywhere they have a potential to be creative.
Now, you are also involved in some good works with the World Food Program that's connected to the United Nations. Tell me a bit about that work and why you do it.
Well, when I was in Canada, I actually spoke to a school of elementary kids, and I was talking to them about hunger and what the World Food Program does. And it was really interesting. I asked them about times they were hungry, and we wrote a short story about someone who felt hungry to really open their mind to the idea that, you know, there are kids out there who don't have the privileges that we do. And so how can we help? There's a program, freerice.com, which I talked about educational questions. When you answer them, you get free rice for others, and so it's a great program.
Are you in school right now? I mean, obviously you are, but where are you in school?
Yes, I go to an online public school, Washington Virtual Academy.
And so are you in an advanced program? When will you graduate from high school?
I should graduate about a year or 2 years early, and I'm hoping to continue learning at a pretty quick speed.
I don't think that's going to be a problem for you. That's my
Thank you.
personal thought. Where do you want to go to college, and what do you want to do?
I don't really know where I want to go to college yet. I'm still accepting any suggestions from people, and yeah, I'm just keeping my eyes open.
Do you think you want to teach? Do you want to? You mentioned you enjoy doing television. Would you want to do something like this, or do you have just a thought that you'll keep your options open?
Well, I really love to host shows, co-host them, and so definitely journalism is a big point of interest for me. I would love to continue teaching, maybe go into public service or government, so really a whole range of ideas.
Who is the most amazing person you've met so far?
I have met a lot of amazing people at the TED conference. I got the chance to meet Steve Wozniak, Jeff Bezos, so quite a few people, just pretty amazing. James Cameron, so I can't really pinpoint one.
Were you intimidated at all? You're definitely the youngest person who was there. Were you comfortable with what you were doing?
I was pretty comfortable, but I have to say that walking among all these great people, you do feel a little bit like, wow, what am I doing here?
I think you belong. Adora, where did that name come from?
It's from my parents. I guess they were too lazy to go beyond the A's and they named my sister Adriana, and so.
I've never heard of that name before. That's wonderful. It's unique, like you. Well, you know, we want to give you an opportunity to co-host here today. I'm going to have to try hard to keep up with you, I have a feeling. But will you stick around and help me out?
Yes, I would love to.
All
Thank
right,
you.
we're going to continue the show, and Adora will be co-hosting today. So as she mentioned, this is part of her aspiration, her dream for the future, and she'll probably have my job by Monday. So, all right, coming up today, we're going to do some fun things. They just got back from the national competitions. A team of one-wheeled competitors